Sanford, North Carolina real estate statistics are more important than national real estate statistics. However, most headlines that you see out there are reflective of national real estate news. And so let me show you what the stats look like here in Sanford. And stick around for the end because I do think we're gonna get to a time pretty soon where interest rates are coming down, and I wanna tell you a little bit more about that at the end of this. First, here's median months of housing inventory. And as you can see, we follow a similar trend line for a while, right? Our inventory levels were lower than the national average. It was hyper hot here, 2020, 2021, going into 2022. And then right now our inventory is actually higher than the national average, but a lot of that's because of new construction and new construction listings that aren't even built yet, or some that aren't even started yet. Next up, this is median days on market. This is how long does it take a house to sell, basically. And as you can see, we follow national trends. There's not a whole lot of change. It's taking a little bit longer for houses to sell right now, but just a little bit. The amount of new listings that hit the market in our area has been pretty consistent, right? There was a big drop for the national real estate market. We didn't see that as much, a little bit, but for the most part, we're in line with national statistics here. The amount of pending listings, this is the amount of houses going under contract. This shows us that people are buying houses, has maintained a pretty consistent level, and we're pretty closely in line with what we see on a national level. Now here again is where I think the new construction numbers are skewing things, and we're a little bit different than what they're seeing on a national level. For a long time we were way below the active listing count because everything was flying off the shelf. Everything was selling extremely quickly. Now we've got a lot of new construction listings that stay on the market significantly longer because they list it before they even break ground. And a lot of times people don't put it under contract until it's 60 days out from completion. So there's a lot of new construction listings impacting this number. Number of homes with price reductions, we're still seeing very low because the new construction listings aren't changing their prices very much, and the resale homes that are move-in ready and nice are going under contract almost immediately. Here's where we really start to pull away and see some differences in Sanford's market. The median listing price per square foot went down quite a bit when interest rates doubled on the national market, but we've just seen a steep incline here that really hasn't stopped and doesn't show any signs of stopping. And that directly impacts the median listing price, which also on the national level declined as interest rates doubled, but here is continuing to rise. And to be honest, I see 5, potentially 10 years of a continual rise in the listing prices and the home values in our area. And so I said, I think interest rates are gonna be coming down pretty soon here. Pretty soon's relevant, end of this year, first quarter of next year, somewhere in that time frame, but here's why. If you take a look at this graph, you'll see that the drop in interest rates typically follows the drop in inflation. They don't happen at the same time, and I don't mean it follows it like the day after, but shortly after inflation drops, historically, interest rates drop too. And here, take a look at this graph, you can see that inflation hit a peak, the Fed stepped in, they raised the federal funds rate to slow down inflation. It's working. Inflation has been coming down. They did say they will still have a target of 2% inflation, and we're about at 3% of year over year inflation. And so there's probably gonna be at least one more rate hike. That's what they're signaling. But once that's done and we're down to that 2% inflation or very close to it, I think that a couple months after that, like history tells us, and history typically repeats itself, we're gonna see interest rates start to decline. So what's that mean for your average Sanford, North Carolina homeowner who may want to buy or sell in the next few months? What it means right now is that resale homes are still selling very, very well, right? There's some things that you got to think about where you could get away with not doing repairs and upgrades, in 2020 and 2021. Buyers are less apt to take those projects on because they're having to pay significantly higher borrowing costs than they were back then. But you can still sell your house right now for top dollar, as you saw in the median listing price, right? That you can still sell your house and pocket a big chunk of change right now. Equity levels are at all-time highs. Also, on the buyer side of the market, things aren't as hyper hot unless you're under 300,000. If you're trying to buy under 300,000, it's crazy. It's a war zone. There's going to be multiple offers on most listings, but above 300,000, the market's a little bit softer where you're not having to get crazy with your offers. So it's a relatively good time to buy, especially, considering the fact that prices are probably just going to keep on going up. Now, what it means for you if you're thinking about timing it and waiting until interest rates come down, or maybe you're just not ready to move yet and you're going to do it 6 months from now, you just got to be prepared that most likely what's going to happen. Inventory levels are still low. If interest rates drop from 7 to 5%, a lot of buyers are going to jump into the marketplace. That means that low amount of homes for sale, more buyers, it's going to create more competitive buying situations. Now, we might have a little relief there because a lot of sellers right now are not selling because they've got a 4% interest rate. They can't stomach the idea of going to a 7% interest rate. But if that gap gets smaller and interest rates are 5%, a lot of sellers who are on the fence won't mind going from a 4% to a 5% as much as they would from 4 to 7. So we might see more sellers hit the market as well, which can balance out some of those buyers that are going to jump back in. Either way, right, if you're looking to move now or within the next 6 months to buy or sell, you should start a conversation with a local professional now. We're the top real estate team in Sanford and the surrounding areas. We'd love the opportunity to help walk with you alongside you on your home buying or home selling journey. So if you got any questions at all, call or text us 919-261-3163 or visit sanfordsurrounded.com.